we move on to preview tomorrow's big Champions League tie. There's some other big Champions League ties. Just to summarize them real quick, we have Salzburg taking on Brest, Stuttgart taking on Sparta Praha, Dortmund taking on Celtic, PSV taking on Sporting, Slaven Bratislava taking on City, Barcelona taking on Young Boys, which is another big game because Barcelona lost their opening game. They don't want to slip up again against Young Boys and find themselves in a position where they're looking up in this 36 league table format. Inter taking on Crvena Zvezda, and then the other big game in my opinion coming up, besides this Arsenal PSG game, Leverkusen taking on AC Milan. That's gonna be an interesting one as well. But we gotta do the preview for Arsenal versus PSG. So, PSG so far looked really impressive in League One, with 5 wins and a draw, and they have a dominating goal differential with 20 goals scored, 5 goals conceded. This is a PSG right now in a little bit of a transitional period, going away from Mbappe, relying on some quality from some of the youth like Zaire Emery. You have João Neves, a 20-year-old Portuguese midfielder getting some minutes. You have William Pacho, the Ecuadorian center half. Lucas Beraldo, 20-year-old Brazilian. Luis Enrique, taking advantage of some of the youth quality into this team. And it's a transitional period for PSG, but they're doing it in very, very good fashion so far in how they played in League One. They've been really, really good, really, really impressive. They did have that opening day Champions League win over Girona, in which, yes, they did dominate the game, but it took them a very, very late to get that winner, and it was, quite simply out of luck that they were able to get the winner. But yeah, there's an interesting situation there going on though with PSG. Dembele, he will not be available for selection into this game. He's been axed for the game because of a reported row that he had. A row disagreement, whatever word you want to use, that he had with Luis Enrique, and he will not be traveling to London for this game against Arsenal. He was dropped by Luis Enrique because during the 3-1 win over Rennes, or after their 3-1 win over Rennes, they were argued. The day later, there was an argument between them two. The club came out and backed Luis Enrique's decision to leave him out, and he was left out. When Luis Enrique was asked about this decision, he said, "If someone doesn't meet the requirements of the team, it means, in my opinion, that they are not ready. It means in such an important week with such an important game coming up, we need every player to be fully available, and if they are not meeting expectation, there are no issues. It is my job to do the best for the team, and that was my decision." Luis Enrique, he later stated with the player that he did not want to make a soap opera out of the incident. And he also added that there's a problem of commitment of the player towards the team. Dembele, he's had a very, very good start so far to the season. We know that last season end product has been a little bit of an issue for him. But so far this season, he scored 4 goals and had 4 assists in the 6 games for PSG in League One. That is great. 8 goal contributions in 6 games. That is sensational end product display. Last season, we didn't really see that. But so far he's been really really good for PSG this season, and he created that opportunity as well against Girona to get that goal. It was through his cross that, or not through his cross, it's actually through Nuno Mendes' cross. So let me I'm mistaking my players actually. It was not Ousmane Dembele, it was Nuno Mendes. But but yeah, it's crazy storyline. And Luis Enrique, he's not someone that has not done this before. If you remember going back to last season, um, if you go back to last season, whenever they were going away to Toulouse, he left out Mbappe and Dembele because of them not working hard enough in training. Um, and um, and look, I understand the manager in here. Like, we don't know exactly what happened, but at the end of the day, if there's a lack of commitment, you know, there's no problem with disciplining your player, even if it is the player, 4 goals, 4 assists, your best player so far this season. Now, it does put you on the back foot, taking on Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium, not having Ousmane Dembele, not having that production, because this is a team in PSG that does lack. They do lack the star, the fire, power in the attack with Mbappe missing. They do lack that. They're probably now gonna play, Barcola, Asensio, and probably, Kolomwani maybe, or Lee Kangin or something of that sort. You do that lack that firepower going forward. But again, as a manager, you have to you have to stamp in your authority. You have to, you have to keep the authority. You have to be respected. And if there's someone not meeting the level of expectations and for what it takes to be a PSG player, you must be punished. Whether you're the best player or you're, sitting on the bench, you never play. So it does put PSG in a little bit of a back foot. As far as Arsenal, I do have to say they have been struggling a little bit without Odegaard in terms of being able to create. Now, they scored 4 goals this past weekend, but keep in mind they were they were drawing 2-2 till the 94th minute or so. They struggled in that game against Leicester to get that result. At the end, they did end up getting it. They got the 3rd goal, eventually even got the 4th later on in stoppage time. But there was a good minute in watching that game that I thought, oh my God, Leicester's gonna be able to pull off this draw. And that's one of those games that Arsenal, they never really struggled in this past season. And I don't think the team has weakened, but I do think they are missing Odegaard. They are missing Odegaard because this is a team that lacks creativity without him. The wingers are not creative players. Kai Havertz is not a creative player. They don't have that creativity when Martin Odegaard is not on the pitch. They don't have the player that can make those line-breaking balls the way Odegaard. They don't have that cute and clever player in midfield without Martin Odegaard. So now taking on PSG, this is difficult opposition to play against. And in the Champions League, we know Arsenal in general, historically, even going back to last season, even if they're a really, really good team with Arsenal, they just struggle in the Champions League. The Champions League is not their strong foot. And going against PSG, which they don't really have much Champions League pedigree themselves, but they do have some quality to take advantage of a team that has a little bit of a weak mentality in these big games, in my opinion, in these Champions League games. Going back last season, they had a 5-0 wins and 6-0 wins and another 5-0 win in a 3-game stretch in the Premier League. Sandwiched in that in the middle of those 3 games was a loss away to Porto 1-0. That just really sums up Arsenal in my opinion. It sums up Arsenal in my opinion. I do have to say, and it was really, really funny. I talk about that all the time, but it really is funny with me and how much, Arsenal's DNA ends up coming to bite them eventually in the season, and I think it's coming so far this season. But yeah, overall, so Ben White and Calafiori, they're both gonna be in probable to play in this game despite picking up minor injuries over this weekend. We know Julian Timber, he'll probably be an option there as well. I already spoke about Odegaard are out. Mikel Merino, we know he's still continue to be out, and then we know Zinchenko, he was gonna continue to be out till after the international break. Um, um, but we know Arsenal, they're coming in as the favorites, playing at the Emirates. They're a better team than PSG overall based on, you know, what we expected from both teams entering the season. I do think I trust Luis Enrique more than Mikel Arteta in these big moments. Luis Enrique is a manager that's done it in the Champions League. Mikel Arteta, not so much. And Luis Enrique is done at the highest level. He's been a manager of a team that won trebles. And I think in-game, tactically adjusting, I do think I trust him over Mikel Arteta, I do have to say. But at the same time, with losing Dembele, you do lack that firepower in the attack. But no, I'm looking forward to this game. I think it will finish a draw. I think both teams. I think, I think it finished 0-0, 1-1, because I think both teams do have their weaknesses. With Arsenal playing without Odegaard, with Dembele playing without PSG, with PSG playing out without Dembele. Do think Arsenal will be a little bit scared to go a little bit too open, taking on PSG. I think PSG will also have a balanced approach in this one, going away to the Emirates. I think we might get a little bit of a boring, fest, and so I think it will finish a draw.